Good evening and welcome. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I'd like to welcome you to my craft room tonight. Please jump on, say hello, let me know where you're from because it's always great to say hello to new people, particularly if you haven't been on here before. So don't be shy. I don't bite. As I tell a lot of kids, I just nibble around the ankles. But anyway, what I thought we'd do today, I've received my brown box, part of my pre-order. So I thought I might just go through and show you some of the things that I got, and then we're going to make a card with one of them. So let me flip this camera down and let's get going. Okay, whoops, let me just remove that. Here's our new catalogue. This is our mini catalogue, which is going to go from September through to December. Now, if you live, hi, Miss Swarry, how are you? Thanks for joining tonight. Now, if you live here in Australia and you don't have a demonstrator and you'd like to get a copy of this catalogue, please, by all means, get in touch with me. You can either leave a comment here on my live, or you can email me at michele@jutrissa.com. It's very, very simple. It's just my first name with one L and at my surname and then .com. So it's easy to get hold of me. Send me a message and I can get one of these out into the mail to you. And I just received some today, so I've got them here handy. Now, I can't show you inside the catalogue, but I am going to show you some of the things that I have purchased. So one of the things I've got is a new stamp set, which is called Radiant Light. This one I ummed and ahed about a little bit. I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted it or not, because I do have to think about what I'm purchasing. I'm not someone who can go out and just purchase everything and anything. So I've got to at least work out, a few cards that I think I'm going to do with it. And then I came up with an idea. I did a card many years ago, which was now let me think now, what was it? It was an embossed resist technique. And I'm wondering whether I can do something like that with this set, with these candles. The candles they're not as big as what I was hoping. I was hoping they might have been a little bit bigger. But anyway, I'm going to play around with it and see what I come up with. So hopefully over the next few weeks we might see some cards, or we might even make a card here on one of my lives. So that was the first one I got. Then I got the Merriest Trees. Now, this one here does come with dies. And as you can see, your Christmas tree is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And there's actually a die. You can cut all of those out. So the stamp is actually quite big. If you have a look at it here, it's quite a big piece. And if I just get these out, I haven't even really looked at these as yet, but these pieces, and they're not going to build that big. Well, that one there is going to die cut that piece out. This piece here is going to cut that piece out. That one is going to cut the next one out, and then there should be another 1, 2 pieces there for those top pieces. So you could stamp the tree as one and just cut it out in one piece, or you can have, I suppose you could make smaller trees by just removing each part if you wanted a smaller tree. You can also stamp this piece here, and then you've got this stamp here, which, hi Jenny, welcome, which gives you some detail to your tree. So I think this could be quite a bit of fun. And then you've got a couple of sentiments. Let me just bring this back to here. So you've got a couple of sentiments here. You've got like a parcel to go under the tree, another little one there that could go under the tree. You've got some decoration pieces here that you can put on your tree to decorate. There's a couple of more parcel pieces down here. But there is also lots of dies to cut out. Oh, all sorts of things. There's lights, there's stars. But one of the things I did like about this is it's got a nice big tag. So I'm going to see what I can do, particularly with this tag, because really, to be honest, I bought the set for the tag. I ummed and ahed, but then ended up going, no, I want that tag. So I know it's a simple tag, and I probably could have die cut or cut it myself. But anyway, let's see what we can come up, or cards and that we can come up with. That one it could also be a really good one for scrapbooking as well. That one. So let me pop that to one side. Now this one here is a suite called Oh Holy Night. Now I haven't purchased the whole suite. Hi Deborah, how are you? Glad you're able to catch us tonight. I didn't purchase this whole suite. I've only purchased at the moment because it's a 2 stamp set suite. So it's got Night Divine plus the dies, and then there's another stamp set which has an embossing folder, so, and dies as well. So I thought I'm going to start with this one, and then later on down the track I will buy the second set just to keep things a little bit more cost effective for me. But this one here, I really love the sentiments in this, and I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. But the beauty of this one is it comes with these fantastic dies. So you could create the scenes of Christmas with the manger, Mary and Joseph and the wise men, a couple of animals there. So you've got a donkey and you've got a sheep, you've got a couple of lots of clouds. I'm not quite sure. Oh, that one there's probably a lamb, so like a silhouette type one. And of course your manger and everything, and baby Jesus. So you've got, and a camel. So there's quite a bit in that to build up a scene. So I like to keep all these together, so that's going to go all into there. But it's the designer series paper that is really nice in this. So it also has 2 lots of designer series paper. And you've got this one here, which is Oh Holy Night. Now, let me just pop that down so I can show you this paper. As I said, I've just pulled it out. I really haven't had a look at it myself. But you've got just like a Night of Navy wash, I suppose, with the stars all over it. And then on the back, you've got it in the, looks a little bit like Pebble Path. Let me just have a look and see what they say here, colour-wise. Basic black, boho blue, copper clay, crumb cake, misty moonlight, Night of Navy, Pebble Path, and very vanilla. So it is a very vanilla based. So this is like a Pebble Path, and it's sort of got like a wash type of effect underneath the design. And then you have this one here. Look at this. You can create a beautiful scene there for a card. You could cut the bottom section of that off and make cards with that scene there. And then the top section, I'm sure you could do something with using it as a backing with the sentiments, or even putting the manger over the top and making your own scene. You could layer cardstock onto that and make your own sort of scene in the lines of this sort of thing, but probably not so much with the houses, but with layers of your Pebble Path and a few other colours like crumb cake and so forth, and create hills and so forth, and put a manger on top. And then on the back of that, you've got that beautiful one, which is that coppery one. So again, with that sort of that wash, it's almost like they've got a paintbrush and painted it, but not the same colour all over. It's got light and darks everywhere. You want Oh Holy Night? Yeah, it is gorgeous. And of course, I mean, I love blues. So, I mean, hey, I can't. Now, I'm not quite sure which is the right way. Do you want to have the blue, the lighter blue at the bottom, or the darker blue at the bottom? Probably with the sky, you'd go from light to dark at the top. But again, it's one that you could, sort of cut it in half and have two different things, or a scrapbook page. So, and then on that side there, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just got just a tiny weeny, like it's a blue on blue type pattern there. And again, with that sort of washed out background, textured background. Another one with stars on it, but this time the stars are a bit bigger. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, excuse me. Okay, here's another one with a bit of a hill type scene here. But again, all in your pebble paths and all your neutral sort of colours. And there's another lovely one. I can see some things being used with that. And because your colour in this is your very vanilla. So this one here has got like your stars are in a white, so you could put white with that one. But this one here is a very, very vanilla base colour to it. Now here's another one, big one, good one for scrapbooking if you're into scrapbooking. Again, with your hills and so forth, and your stars and sky. What's that DSP from? This DSP is from the Oh Holy Night suite, so the collection. So that's the first set of designer series paper that comes in this collection. The second set of designer series paper in this collection, there's only, trying to think, there's one of each design, and there's only 6 sheets, and they're a single-sided design. So these have got like a, so it's got a very vanilla or night of navy, and it's got a gold imprint. So there's nothing on the back. It's just a plain back on it. I'm sorry, my lighting is rolling a bit. Let's see if that makes that better. So this is from the same suite, but it's got a little bit of more of a, I suppose, regalness to it. We had paper similar to this quite a few years back, and it was very popular. If I remember correctly, they actually had it over 2 Christmas seasons. So, so this is the second lot. So there's that one. So then you've got this one here, which is more of a mosaic, which works out quite well because, I mean, it is a Jerusalem, and that is an area that has got Muslim temples and that in it. So mosaics and everything are quite prevalent in the country. There are temples and so forth that were Christian at one stage, and then have gone Christian to Muslim and backwards and forwards a few times. So, it's a nice pattern, and it works quite well with that lovely Christmas theme, I think. And then again, you've got just the stars. So there's only 1 sheet of each, and there's 6 sheets in this particular pack. They're not this is standard DSP thickness, so they're not thicker, I don't think, from the other ones. No, they're still about the same sort of thickness. And this one is called Shining Brightly, but also from that Oh Holy Night collection. Now, there are other things in the collection. There are some star type jewel things that you can put on your card. There's also this ribbon, which I got, which is like a night of navy ribbon. I don't know whether you can see that. Just get one of these ones which have got a white background. So it's night of navy with your gold glitter through it. and I just tied it with a bow, in a bow, just to see how it works. You wouldn't get a real small bow, but it is usable and does, tie quite nicely. You do lose some of your glitter off it as you tie it, so your table will get probably a little bit glittery. Did you like what you saw in the catalogue this year? Yeah, I think, I did. There's a lot of things in there, I think. A lot I wish I could afford to buy, but I mean, over a period of time I might. I don't usually buy anything in the Halloween. I can see the funness in it because you've got things in there like skeleton bones and things like that. There's a glow in the night paper, which could be quite interesting to play with. But I generally don't do, because we're here in Australia, I don't do Halloween, and also because of my beliefs, I don't generally do Halloween, and I don't do Thanksgiving because we don't really celebrate that here. But there is a Thanksgiving stamp set in there, which has got corn, acorns, but it's also got a floral piece, it's an outline stamp. And I'm thinking of purchasing it just for the floral part, because I really like that, and I like to be able to colour that in. And I don't think at the moment, especially in our annual catalogue, we've got a really good floral that you can colour in. So I think there's things in it that I like. There's things that really excited me, and these are a few of them. And I will, as time goes, purchase more of them. The other things I did get, which really excited me, there's a really nice embossing folder, which is a distressed tile. And I think it was Jeanette Wakeling I was watching this morning, and she actually used this folder with vellum, and it looks really, really good. So you're not a Halloween person either? Yeah. It sort of gets a bit lost on me. And my kids are all grown up, so hey. But yeah, I love anything that's got a vintage sort of look to it. So I thought, well, this is going to be fun. So can't wait to play with that. What really excited me was this one here, which is the Deckled Circles. So look for it. It is, it's on one page and it's up in the top corner. So it is one of those things you might miss if you're not looking through it carefully. And I really love this, and it has got lots of circles. Now I've already pulled one out because I'm going to use it, but as you can see, there's a huge number of circles here, and the largest one is quite big. It's 14.5 centimeters, or 5 3/4 of an inch wide. So it's wider than, I mean, our cards here in Australia are only 10.5 centimeters. So there's 10.5 centimeters. It's another 4 centimeters bigger than the width of our card. But would be great for scrapbooking. Be great for making easel cards. There's a lot I think we're going to be able to do with these dies, and I think because we've got the deckled edge rectangles as well, this is one of the things that really excited me. So and it's a bit different to just our normal straight round circle with a straight edge, so it's going to be fun to play with. A good alternative, and I'm so glad that they've brought them out, because it was a bit disappointing when we lost our layering circle dies. So I think this is actually an excellent alternative. And there is, if you can't find the circle you want here, you're not going to find it anywhere, because that is just a great selection in sizes. So I'm just going to leave one of those out. The last thing that I'm going to show you is the masks in the catalogue. Oh, there's another stamp set as well. And this is actually, these two things are actually on the same page. Now, they're not they don't go together, but you could use them together. So the stamp set here, So Sincere, is a standalone stamp set with some really, good sentiments. I don't always like sentiments we get with our stamps, but these ones aren't too bad. Sort of, you're in my heart and prayers, which is really good for, if you've got to make those sympathy cards just for you, great for presents. So very proud of you. If you're celebrating something that someone's done, that's, a child has done something really good or something like that. Of course, you've got your happy birthday. You got knowing you brings joy to my heart. Just love spending time with you. Your kindness is so appreciated. Hope your day is a happy one. Be grateful for what you have. Be proud of who you are. And you could even separate that one and make that into two sentiments, because they could stand alone by themselves. So there's some really nice bits and pieces in that. And this one here is a rubber based stamp as well. So I got that, but I got a little bit excited with the masks that they've brought out. Not all of them in here excite me, because, as I said before, I don't do Halloween and I don't do Thanksgiving. So some of these are geared a little bit towards that. So you've got this one here, and I'm just going to grab a piece of cardstock. Just bear with me, just so you can see these. So this one here, you've got leaves all over it, but I mean, it'd be a good one for a background. You could use your blending brush, and if you just wanted to do something with a light background on it, really good for that, because you've got all sorts of different leaves and that. And you don't have to have a Thanksgiving theme to it. I mean, here in Australia, we're heading out of winter now and heading into spring, so it's almost the wrong season for us, but I think it still could be usable. You've also got that one, which again, every year I hope it snows here, but we didn't get snow. But then we're only in August. You never know. We still could get snow here. It has happened in the Southern Highlands. But again, with winter, with Christmas coming on, we're sort of heading into our heat. So I don't know how much I'm going to get out of that one, but we'll see. You never know. I quite like the houndstooth one. I think that could be quite fun. Now, with any of these masks, of course, you don't have to just use your blending brush. You can sponge them. You can spritz them, get a spritzer bottle. I think they come in packs of 2 in the catalogue. Put a little bit of re-inker and some alcohol into it, or even some water, and you could spritz. So you could do that. You could use your paste, put your paste over the top of it. There's quite a bit you could do with this. You could use your black ink and get that really good black and white houndstooth look behind a card. The black and white, really bold colours would look, the flowers and so forth in bold colours would look excellent on that. But what excited me with this, and let me just pop this cardstock away so I don't get it damaged. It's all good. It's all in front of me. Actually, I should have left it out for these. But these are your masks. Let me just bring it back. I'll put it back in a sec. So you've got a set here of 4 masks. And when you put them all together, now I've been hoping that Stampin' Up would bring something out like this for quite a while. I would love to still see something with more detail, more layers, but that's me. But at least this is a start heading in the direction I'd love to see more done. So it's sunflowers. Now, each one of these is numbered, and up the top here, you've got a little notched V taken out of the mask, and that's so you can line them up, and you've got a number on there. So that one there is number 1. Then you have this one here, which is leaves, which would be number 2. Now, I would ideally love to see both of those broken down into more layers, so you could add different layers of green. But I've sorted something out to do all that. So that's number 2. Then you have number 3, which is your centers of your sunflowers. And then you've got number 4, which gives you some more detail to your sunflowers. So I've done a little bit of playing around, and I've made this card earlier. It's just a 1-layer, well, 2-layer, because I've got it on another piece of cardstock and then mounted it on my card base. But I'm going to repeat this card again. It's just a really good start. I've got lots of other ideas of what I can do with this. So I'm hoping that I can do them and they all work out. But at the moment, they're all in my head. So this is what we're going to make today or tonight. But I'm going to maybe step it up a little bit. Some of the things I've done to this card, I did it afterwards, and I'm going to try doing it first, and I'm going to explain all that to you as we go along. So this is the card we're going to, or a card very much similar to this, is what we're going to try to make right now. So let's pop all that aside. I've got all my mask pieces there. I've got my die cut, so I want to cut a piece with that. Now I've cut myself a card base in Daffodil Delight. I've cut myself 2 pieces of cardstock. One's going to go on the inside of my card and one is going to go on the outside. And I'm just keeping it quite simple. But we're going to be doing a bit of colouring on this one here. And then I've got this piece which we're going to die cut that deckled circle out of. Because with this card here, for me, the sentiment doesn't stand out enough. It's sort of getting lost a little bit there in the flowers. So I'm going to have a little bit more of a play, and we're going to have a play and put it onto, and set the sentiment up a little bit. So it'll be a slight step up. So let's just pop all these out of the road and let's get started on this. So what I'm going to do first off, I've got my piece of basic white and it's cut to the size for my card front, and I've got some masking tape here, and I'm just going to mask this down. Actually, I might not want to mask it down too much. What I might do is fold this underneath and pop it underneath, because I'll do for what I want to do. Just want this not to move for the first initial part. So that will hold that down a little bit. So what I want to create is a background, and I'm going to create it with this, and we're going to be using Daffodil Delight. So the colours I've pulled out are Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry, Lemon Lime Twist, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, and Early Espresso. Now, I know there seems to be a lot of different colours there. Now, I've just got some blending brushes here. These ones here aren't Stampin' Up ones, but I have got my Stampin' Up ones there. This was just handy. So I just want to have a little bit of colour. I'm not putting too much on here. I'm taking a little bit off. And I'm actually going to, for this, I'm not using these masks for this first step how they're intended to be used. I will be doing that in a minute. I just want to create a light background. So I'm just going to put a little bit of colour. Now I am going off my page a bit. And I'm just creating a little bit of a light background. Now, if I can show you my original card, I might be able to show you what I meant or what I'm doing. You have a look at this card here. See how I've got a bit of a background here at the back? Now, I actually, when I made this card, did these 3 flowers first, and then came back in and added these background pieces, because for me, I needed a bit more texture in my background. So for what I'm doing now, I'm doing it back to front to what I originally did, because all I want to do is just add a little bit of texture on here. So I'm just sort of looking at this and how different ways you can use it. Use the masks to create the cards that we want to create. As I said, I'm only doing this really lightly because it's only just to give a little bit of a background. And then another one. And what you can do is get your Post-it note, because you've got to be very careful. And probably really what I should be doing is grabbing a couple of Post-it notes and just taking out, so then I'm only wanting to mask that particular one at the moment. Just brush that color off. And I'm only just laying that down really, really lightly. I mean, that one's come up a little bit darker, but that's okay. Can just turn that around and have that more up the top. So it's probably come out a little bit darker than what I really wanted, but once the color sort of dries, that will settle down. So now what I'm going to do is start using this how it's intended to be used. So again, I'm just taking off a bit of that Post-it note from the back, and now I can adhere this down because I want this to stay and not move. I'm going to line up so I've cut my card front to the finished size I want for my front of my card. So I'm going to layer this now where I want it to be on my finished card. So I want that to be sitting there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a pencil here. I'm going to put a little line there so I can know that that's there, and I'm going to put a little line where my notch is, and that's on my scrap paper underneath it, just so then when I put the next layer on, it's easy enough to line it up without it, but I also want to just double check and make sure my notches are lined up. Okay. Oh, Jenny, your husband's just come home from hospital. I hope he's okay. Okay, then. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to go a little bit darker, a little bit more pressure. Now, you could also put some Post-it note tape down on your template here to hold it down. But we're just going to come in with a little bit of pressure here and just add our colour. Now, with my originally one that I did earlier, I actually didn't use the Daffodil Delight. I used the crushed curry for this, and then I added a little bit of the pecan pie over the top, and that's what gave my leaves that really sort of brown tinge to them. This one here, I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight and then use crushed curry over the top of that, just to give a little bit of dimension. So I do want this one to be fairly strong. So just going around on circles. So once I'm done that and I'm happy with that, so that's bringing that up like that, I'm going to pop that back on top, matching up my notch, matching up my petals, and I'm going to now grab the crushed curry. Now I do have another brush for the crushed curry. I could have used the other one because the crushed curry is darker. Take a little bit of that off. Now I just want to add a little bit of making sure that is all lined up where I had it. And I just want to add a little bit of that crushed curry around, either around the center or around those edges. I just want to add a little bit more depth of color. So I'm just adding just a little bit to add highlight, because we want those sunflowers to be bright and sunny. Now, it probably would have been easier to do a smaller brush with this, might have a bit more control, but hey, I'm just going with the flow myself at the moment. So this is where I wish they had a secondary mask for this, breaking down this flower again in another level, because then we could have used a second one. But one day I might sandbox it, but I think I'm actually quite happy that they've gone to this point and having more masks with this sort of thing, giving us more variety. So now I'm going to grab the next one, number 2. Okay, now just be careful, because if you turn it upside down, you don't see your 2, so that's the wrong side. So you want to see, hi Deb, how are you? You want to see your 2, that is the right side. So again, I'm going to line that up. Lining up my notch I made my pencil mark, and I've got that there. Now, what I have, because I hope you can see it, my cardstock is quite a bit narrow, and I'm going to lose a bit of my leaves. So here's my original card, and I just felt that there's too much gap in between the leaves there and my petals of my flowers. So I'm going to play with this a little bit, and I'm going to bring in my lemon lime twist. Move that out of the road again, and work out what brush I'm using. That one there. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to move it in and just be very careful and move it in slightly closer. Not too close, but I'm just going to move it just a little bit more. And we're going to go over the top of that again. Now, again, because I'm going to add 2 colors, I've got my old olive here. I'm going to open that up at the same time. Got my smaller brush in this one here, and I'm going to just add a little bit of that old olive just around those edges, just to give a little bit of extra depth of color. Okay, so that's going to be like that. So normally you wouldn't lift your mask away. Now I'm going to bring this one in here, in slightly closer. So that's where it would normally sit. I'm just going to slide this across, and I'm using my grid lines here to help me, and just bring that in just a little bit closer. I'm going to grab my lemon lime twist again and go over the top. Now, one of the reasons I really like these masks is you don't, in previous masks that they've made, they've had almost the whole flower. So they've had the flower and the leaves and everything on one piece of mask, which meant that you had to have everything that you didn't want coloured taped up and covered. Whereas with this one here, because you've only got leaves on this, you can put colour here and it's not going to affect what's underneath. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of old olive I hope that makes sense to you, but I love having these extra layers. Okay, so now we've got this leaf here at the bottom. So normally it would sit about there, and I'm just going to bring this up this time a little bit until it's sort of just coming up into there. You could, if you wanted to, just turn that a little bit and have it going in there a bit, or bring it across. You could, if you wanted to have more leaves, bring this around and add more. You could bring this piece, move that out of the road, and have another big one coming down here. You can move this about and create, hi Lucia, and create whatever you wanted to create. But I'm going to just leave this the way they had it, except I'm going to move my leaf up a little bit closer to where I want it to sit, closer to those flowers. So again, I'm going to get some lemon lime twist, brush a bit of that off, and just go over that. Just remember, a little bit of ink here will go a long way, and then I'm just going to add some highlights with my old olive. And just add that in like that. So there's that. Now with these masks, you can see there's quite a bit of ink building up on there. When I'm finished, what I would do is earlier I found you could take this and run it underneath the tap and get rid of it because it's a water-based ink. What I also did was I grabbed that's my foot spray. That's not what I'm after. This is what I'm after. I just got some Stampin' Mist, put it onto some paper towel, and then wiped that all down. Oh, stubborn migraine. My son suffers from migraines, and thankfully I never have. So, okay. So that's that colour finished. So now we're going to grab our number 3 mask. Again, making sure that my number 3, which is just up there, I think you can just see it sometimes. Put my finger underneath it. Does it help? I know I caught it a minute ago. Number 3 facing up. Line up my notch there again. Don't just rely on that. Also check you're lining up these as well. And then we're going to grab that's the one I want. And I'm using Pecan Pie. Now, of course, you could use whatever colour you wanted to, but I wanted Pecan Pie because it's the seeds in the middle. The sunflower are in your browns and can be quite dark. Again, just take some of that off. And I'm just going to rub that onto there. Bit onto that one as well. And that one was as simple as that. And with this one here, I'm not going to add any more colour to it because our next layer is what's going to give us our texture on our sunflowers here. So again, I've got template number 4 or mask number 4. I'm lining it up with my marks, lining it up with my design. And being a white template plastic, you can see through it. And you can see what you're lining up. So now I'm going to grab Early Espresso. And another brush. Let me just test that one and make sure. Yep. Take a bit of that off. And then again, just go over the top of that. And that's just darkening up those centres. Remove that mask and look, there we go. Now, probably could have gone a little bit darker in my background there, but that's okay. I could, if I wanted to, grab this one with the leaves and just add grab the right greens. Put away the early espresso before I put my brush into that. Now I'm just going to use a bit of the lemon lime twist. And just fill in some of these holes here. Again, with a little bit of old olive. Well, Jenny, I hope your husband's feeling a lot better. So I'm going to pop that one there. And I feel like I need something up in here a bit. So I'm going to bring this one in. As I said, you can pop it wherever you like. This is sort of just using these masks to the next. So the first one I sort of pretty much just went step 1, 2, and 3. But this one here, we're just sort of taking steps 1, 2, and 3 and just adding a few more. Now we've got a lot of, because we went a little bit darker up here, I just want to add something there as well. So I don't think I want to add another big leaf, so I might just add this one in here just to take away a little bit of that where I went a little bit dark with my base. And of course you don't have to do sunflowers in your yellow. You could add other colors if you want to do other colors. You can do anything you want. You can have hot pink sunflowers if you wanted to have hot pink. So let's have a look at this. Let me just close up my ink, get rid of those brushes. They'll go away to be washed. So there's that. So I've created a little bit of a background, a little bit of interest to my card with adding some of those flowers in underneath just to take the starkness of the white off. And then we've got our sunflowers. Now you could also, as I said before, with this one I went in with a little bit of pecan pie also. So I mean, I could, if I wanted to, pop that mask back on. Now I've moved everything. I just want to line this all up. It is fairly easy to line up. And it's a matter of finding the brush. It's got the pecan pie on it. Just that one. And just sort of adding a little bit, not too much, because you don't want to make it too dark, but just adding a little bit of bit of that off still. And I'm just very lightly going around. The outer edges of those petals. There we go. Now they look very golden. So I think that's enough playing around for that. So here's our card base there. It's still a very, very simple sort of card. There's not a lot of layers. You just got to remember that if you're going to put more layers, you're going to be cutting down these leaves, because these leaves do actually go out wider. So, but I mean, even if you only wanted to use one sunflower, you could only maybe want that. You just mask off the other ones that you don't want to have. The other thing is you could do all of this and then cut all of these out, just leaving a little bit of a border around the edges and just do some fussy cutting, which I've got a card idea in my head, which I've still got quiet days here with my sewing, so I might do that tomorrow and play with these again and do a bit of fussy cutting. So I'm just going to pop that on there. That's quite a nice bright card. Now I've got my piece, which is going to be my insert. Now, of course, if you wanted to, and I might do it, as I said, you could just pick out one and then use up these post-it notes. Work out where my sticky part is. Pop that over there. That one. And just go back into the Daffodil Delight. Probably get away with not having that one because this flower is completely off the paper. Add a bit of crushed curry. Brush is a bit too big for that, really. Should have had a smaller one. I'm going to add a little bit. This is the brush I had with the pecan pie on it, so I'm just going to add a little bit of that. Just using up some of that ink that's already on that brush. Remove that. Bring this one back in and line that up. I think I may have got the wrong brush. Or I've done that a bit dark. That's okay. And then our last mask, because I'm not going to worry about leaves on this one, and I'm going to take that, just line that up. There we are. And that's just a little bit of decoration on the inside of our card. I'm not going to worry about my leaves or anything on that. So there's that part of our card. Now we're going to grab, I've got a piece of basic white cardstock here. And I've cut that piece. I mean, it's a lot bigger than what we need it. But basically what I usually do is I will take my piece of A4 cardstock, cut it in half down at 10.5 centimeters straight through the center, and then cut it into quarters, and then I've cut this into eighths. So it just makes it easier to use. I don't have to be sort of thinking lots of little pieces. If you've got scraps, that works out well. This goes into my scrap box, and I can cut something else out of there at a later date. So what we need is, I've got my sentiment here. I'm just going to, actually, we might use Early Espresso. I was going to use Memento Black, but Early Espresso is quite good. And I'm just going to ink that up. Stamp that one. Oops. Grab our cut and emboss. Put that in there. Line up where I want my die to go. Now there's that new beveled edge. You can see it's just got like a little bit of a fluted edge all the way around, or not fluted, but shaped. It's not straight. So very happy with that. Bring in our card. Now that can sit anywhere we want on this. Now I don't have any ribbon or anything. Let me just think what else I could pop underneath that might be just need something, I think, underneath. Got my linen thread here. Just want to give it a little bit more texture. Just gonna run my fingernail down that linen thread a few times just to get out some of those kinks. Yeah, I'll have a look at a couple of jewels to put on there yet. No, I want it. Doesn't have to be a beautiful bow, because all I'm really wanting to do is just get a bit of shape. Just want that underneath there. Glue dots. Tails of my ribbon might just get shortened a bit, but at the moment I just want to put that onto there. I like to use my take a pick tool for putting my glue dots on, just so then I'm not getting the grease from my fingers onto the glue dots and taking away a lot of that adhesiveness. And I'm just going to grab a couple of dimensionals. Thought I saw a dimensional back on me there. But anyway, yes, there it is on my thumb. And then that can go, line that up. That can go there like that. Oops, I just snipped a little bit of my card there. Okay. And let's have a look. I've still yet to go through everything and work out what. Now these I got today too, and I'm just trying to think what it went with. I can't remember. So these are new blooming pearls. I probably just picked them because I had a few dollars to use up. But they're nice. They're nice colours too. See, it's really nice, shiny, Christmassy. Looks like you've got I'm trying to think of the name of the colours right here in front of me. Pretty peacock. That one there looks like it is, and I can't quite read it, what colour it is. Oh, my glasses need cleaning, I think. You definitely got gold. I'd have to have a look through the catalogue. But they're quite nice, but not for today. Okay, so we've got these ones here, which we could add the black or we could add the white. Those, no. Maybe they're discontinued. They're discontinued. Oh, I've got so many discontinued. Now, we could add those because I think they're still available. They are. No, you could also use those ones. So let's have a look. We've got a few there. Maybe not. At the moment, I think I'm going more towards these ones. These are your in colours. This is wild, supposed to be wild wheat, boho blue, copper clay. Oh God, I'm still having trouble remembering all the names. But even though wild wheat would have even been a good colour to go in this here. I'm thinking your wild wheat might be good. So even though we haven't used wild wheat in that, that actually looks quite not too bad. So I've just two in different areas. So this one here probably could move out. It might be too stuck down now. That's probably a little bit better. So it's not straight. But anyway, that's the new masks. So I hope you've liked watching me make a card out of that. As I said with these masks, because I mean they are quite covered in ink, all I did was grab a piece of paper towel and a squirt of stamping mist, and you could use even water, and it just cleans right off. Now there is a little bit of discolouring around the edges, but that's okay because once you get your colour off, the inks will it'll come off quite nicely. I think you probably will get a bit of discolouring, but if you clean it properly, you're not going to have ink going from project to project. So, but otherwise you can just go and run that underneath the tap and clean that up. So quite easy to clean up. So there's card just made. There's the card I made earlier, so it's just a step up from it. I hope you enjoy that. So thanks for joining me. And yeah, Moody Mo, thank you. I'm not real good at remembering names at the best of times, and that sort of thing. So unfortunately, that memory, when I was working retail, I could remember not so much people's names, but I could remember what they purchased, and I still can do that, but never been good on remembering names. Quite terrible with it, actually. So anyway, that's that. Join me again on Friday. Now, I may be in August changing my time for Friday's live to 2 o'clock. I'm still working this out, not for August, for September. But at the moment, it will still be at 1 o'clock on Friday. So if you can join me then, that'll be great. And hopefully I'll get this up on my blog in the next few days with all the measurements and everything. So take care. Have a lovely evening. And go and enjoy yourselves for the rest of the night. Bye for now. See ya.